we come together to seek God, trusting that God is seeking us with open arms. All are welcome here. No matter our doubts or questions, where we come from, or who we love, even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God. All are welcome here. We believe that everyone is a child of God. Every age, race, gender, identity, and creed. All are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth. All are welcome here. We affirm that God is a good God who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all. So we choose to have open hearts, open minds, and open doors to God and to each other. All are welcome here.
Hello and welcome to this gathering of Open. We're so glad to join with you today. You're welcome here. I'm Pastor Jonathan Perry, and this is Open, coming safely today from Open and from our homes to join with you in your home. It means so much to us right now to be able to connect in community with you in this way. You are welcome here. So today, amidst everything, from our homes and lives and stories, we come together to seek God, to seek to follow God in our world in this time, seeking to listen and learn from each other and from the heart of God, joining in the loving work of the God of justice, joy, and peace. So to center our hearts around that today, we've got some friends who are going to lead us in our liturgy this morning. They'll be leading us in words that are simple, but they're profound, that wherever you are, wherever you find yourself this day, in the heart of God, in the love of this community, all are welcome here. Friends, let's lift this up together.
We come together to seek God, trusting that God is seeking us with open arms. All are welcome here.
No matter our doubts or questions, where we come from, or who we love. Even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God. All are welcome here.
We believe that everyone's a child of God.
Every age, race, gender, identity, and creed.
All are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth.
All are welcome here.
We affirm that God is a good God who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all. So we choose to have open hearts, open minds, open arms, and open doors to God and to each other. All are welcome here.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Open Worship this morning. We are so glad that you are gathered with us from your homes today. At this time, we'd like to invite you to pop on over to opendtx.com/sign-in to let us know that you're gathered with us today. Even if you've done it before, this just helps us get a clearer picture of who all is here. If you are new here or haven't commented before, say hello in the comments. We'd love to meet you. And now let's greet each other and let it be known that all are welcome here.
Beautiful you are.
friends, my name is Crystal, and with me today I have my friends Brandon and Clay and Dave and Kelly, and we are your worship leaders this morning. We just want you to know that whoever you are, whatever your story or identity is, God's love is here for you, and so are we. Let's continue to worship together. Friends, right now is a difficult time. We all know this. Between division, sickness, and isolation, it's a tough time to have hope for what's to come. Yet we have a vision of what can be, will be, and must be. And somehow, through it all, together, we live into what the future holds. We create something more, that hope. And I am so grateful for this community. This song that we're about to sing together is called Take Courage. As we sing or listen together, remember that God has not forgotten, that God is with us, and that you are seen, heard, and dearly loved. Also, if you have any prayer requests that you'd like to share with the community, please post those in the comments so that we can lift them up together in prayer.
God's in the waiting. I'll hold on to my hope as the future unfolds. God's never failing. God's never failing.
Hi, friends. Thank you for being with us. We're so glad to be gathered with you today. So journey with me 3 years ago, before Open was the glimmer in our eye, back to the very first team meeting, to talk for the very first time about our very first dreams for this community. As that little seed of this community gathered together, we looked at where we were and what work was before us. But we also looked to the end, toward the goal toward which we were stretching. And we asked this question to help us in our thinking. Think about 1 year from now. If everything goes even better than our wildest dreams, what is Open like? What does it feel like to gather in community? Who's there? What are they experiencing? As we took a breath to imagine, to dream, the community began to describe this goal. It's a community that feels like home, where you know you're welcomed. You don't have to wonder. The people are kind and hospitality just fills the gathering like the warmth of a fireplace. The experience is deep and authentic and real, and it helps you connect with God, even if it's been a while and you aren't quite sure what that means. There are many different people, generations, kids who want to be there. The music is amazing. The preaching is adequate. But it's the kind of place that helps you believe that church community could be good. It's open. That was the vision, the goal, the destination, what lay on the other side as we began our journey. And so what was left was building the bridges to get us there. How do we get there from here? How do we get from where we are to where we're headed, from what is to what will be? And we realized that it would be a journey of many steps, but there were real steps that we could take. And those steps became our to-do list, and the to-do list we still work through. But what was most important was that the steps we take, the bridges we build, reflect and embody the end goal, what would be. Even from that very first step, each brick that was laid with the end in mind. Each brick characterized by those qualities of inclusion, authenticity, faith, and hope and love. Because the means create the ends. How we build matters. Each brick builds the bridge that we walk across. And so we took each step with a vision for what will be. And I tell you this not just to take a trip down memory lane, although I do enjoy that, but also because I think this is one of the beautiful things that our faith calls us to, and how we can build bridges in our time. It invites us to have our end, our sacred vision of a beloved community in which all are treated as children of God, of sacred worth, where justice and peace bring flourishing for all. And then let the bridges we build, that are made of 1,000 bricks of little actions and voices and words, let those bridges and those bricks we lay embody love, each one regarding the dignity of the other and seeking the universal holistic flourishing of shalom, which may seem like a lot, but we build our bridges brick by brick, and each brick is an embodiment of the bridge that will be. Each step is a step toward the destination. That's the way that Jesus walked. He came into this world that was and lived and embodied the world as it should be and can be and will be. His teaching, his way, his love was like a signpost helping us see the goal toward which we are headed so that we could build a bridge to get there. Loving our neighbor is about the present good, yes, but it is also part of how we get from where we are to where we are headed. The goal and the end in this life is the kingdom of God, the beloved community where all are welcomed, like the flourishing of an interwoven fabric of shalom. The end is the beloved community, and loving one another is our to-do list. But it's also a sign of what will be lived out right now. And so this bridge building work we've been talking about isn't just about being a good person, though we'll take that. It's about something more, about the sacred work of building the future, of building a bridge to the good future toward which we walk, to build that future in which we can envision now, brick by brick, step by step, loving action by loving action, building here on earth as it is in heaven. And if that phrase that I just said sounds a little familiar, it's because it comes from something that we call the Lord's Prayer. You may call it Our Father in your tradition that you grew up in. But it just as easily could be called the example prayer. Jesus offered it as an example to his followers who came to him one day and said to him, "Teach us to pray." Not because they'd never prayed before. The disciples were raised in the religious Jewish culture, so they prayed every day from childhood, morning, noon, and night. They prayed a lot. They knew a lot of different prayers. I'm sure prayers bounced around in their heads like McDonald's commercial jingles bounce around in ours. And so the real question that they were asking was, teach us to pray like you pray. Because there must have been something in Jesus that made people think he's different. He gets it, gets it. He sees the big picture of where we are and where we're headed. And when he lives and loves and prays, it's like he is walking the bridge between here and our hope. Teach us to see like that, to love like that, to pray like that. See, a prayer represents our hopes, our intentions, our vision. And so let our vision be like yours, they were asking. Let our vision be on earth as it is in fullness. That is what we want our prayer to be. And so Jesus offered an example. He laid out a framework for them with all the hallowed arts and trespasses. But within it, he lifts up this little phrase as a vision that stands as a bridge between the now and the not yet. Jesus prays to God these words, "Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Let the things that God is building, God's will and what God hopes for us, justice, joy, and peace, the beloved community open to all, your will be done here, just as it can be and must be and will be on earth right now, as it is in heaven. And in heaven doesn't just mean in the life to come, but also in those places where that divine life is now. Let the fullness that will be built into the now that is. That is what his prayer was, what Jesus' vision and intention was. And that's what his way of life and love was, a way of building the not yet in the now. That was the destination toward which the bridge he was walking was leading. And so in many ways, that's what your bridges built in faith and hope and love are. They are bridges between what is and what will be. And that's the tension that our bridges hold. That's why it feels heavy sometimes or impossible in the midst of that bridge building work. They have to span a gap. And there's so much distance between the now and the not yet. We cannot do it on our own. We can't. But also, we aren't doing it on our own. We're joining with the deepest forces in the universe, the work of the God who's building a future in us and through us and before us and for us all, and invites our every step to be a part. Not all at once, but step by step. And if we stumble, then next step by next step. Because every step in love and justice and righteousness matter. They're of sacred consequence. Because the end vision is clear. Justice will roll down like water, and righteousness like a mighty stream, and love, friends, will win. And it will be on earth as it is in heaven. And we get there step by step, brick by brick, bridge by bridge, bearing witness in the midst of what is to what can be and will be and must be. There's a word for living in that paradox and that tension, working in the now for the sake of what will be. And that word is hope. Living, walking, and working in hope. And it's a powerful word and one that I'm learning to love. But honestly, sometimes that word hope can seem trite and simplistic. Hope is for Care Bears and Christmas lists, right? It's like when people meet Ted Lasso for the first time. They're like, are you serious? This is the real world. We don't have time for bubblegum and belief and hope. And then Ted Lasso teaches them, hope is exactly what you need to make it through the real world, even if you're Roy Kent. Because hope is not passive. Hope is the power to stand in the gap between what is and what will be. Hope is the power to be part of pulling the future into the present, pulling hearts together across distance, pulling love from the midst of complexity, pulling the way of heaven into earth now. Hope is tenacious. Hope is rebellious. It says there is something better. Another way is possible. The distance between us does not have to define us, but things can be different. Hope drives us in the direction of God's dream for us all. Hope is it's not about giving up. It's about digging in. So there's a famous theologian, not TikTok famous, but theologian famous, from the early 20th century named Jürgen Moltmann. He wrote a seminal little book in the 60s called The Theology of Hope, saying that hope is perhaps the most important call on our life. It's in hope that we'll put feet to our prayers, that God's will be done here. And so he writes this in 1960. If one hopes for the sake of Christ and the future of God and the ultimate liberation of the world, one cannot passively wait for this future. Like the apocalyptic believers withdraw from the world. Rather, they must seek this future, strive for it, and already be in correspondence to it in the active renewal of life and the conditions of life, and therefore realize it already here according to the measure of possibilities. Which is a super wordy and theologian-y way of saying what Gandhi said: be the change you want to see in the world, insofar as you are able, among the measure of possibilities. Realize it here already. But Moltmann says hope is not giving up. Instead, it's digging in, hoping in what will be, knowing what must be, and to the point that cannot be satisfied, not until it is on earth as it is in heaven. Such hope calls the church to continual new impulses toward the realization of righteousness, he writes, to the realization of righteousness, freedom, and humanity here in light of the promised future that is to come. In light of the future that is to come, let ourselves listen to those new impulses, those glimpses of what can be, and lean into them. Lean into love and life, and not letting what is limit our vision of what must be. Jesus' vision of beloved community is our goal, and that's our prayer that guides us. Love is our to-do list. And your community is your co-laborers in that work. Lean into them and lean on them. Crystal always says, I don't think I can love my enemy or love the way that Jesus calls, but when I'm with you, I believe that maybe I can through the strength and solidarity of us all together. That is the sustenance of hope that we find together. Because together we can glimpse a little of the life that we hope for. Together we have some fellow bridge builders and bricklayers in this work, and that hope gives us the power to keep going. And so Moltmann writes this about hope. Resistance is the protest of those who hope, and hope is the feast of the people who resist. Together, the hope we find is a feast. It helps us build bridges in the power of hope. It helps us put feet to our prayers. It helps us keep our vision on the future that we are building together. No matter the obstacles we face, we keep building. Rest for a bit if you need, surely. But when you're ready, dig back in. We need you. We need your hope in your hands and your heart to get where we are headed. As Dr. King wrote, we can accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. Tenacious, rebellious hope. And we can have hope because we have a vision of the end, of the goal, of the destination, and the power of that hope is in the infinite. This hope, Paul writes in Romans, this hope we have does not disappoint us, because the love of God has been poured out within our hearts. It's not of our own power, it's of the infinite power of the love of God poured even into us, the love of all that wins. What we've experienced in that love is a sure signpost of what will come in full. We've glimpsed it. We know love wins, but now we are at work to bring about its victory on earth as it already is in fullness. That is our infinite hope. And so when I think of someone who lived in hope, who lived with a vision for that future, for what must be, and helped build bridges to get us there, I think of Denton's own Fred Moore. You may have heard that name before. He's the namesake of Fred Moore Day School, Fred Moore Park, Fred Moore High School in Southeast Denton. Frederick Douglass Moore was part of Denton's past and present and future, but he was born into a world that was, into a segregated and divided Denton, experienced great trauma and hardship because of the divisive power of white supremacy and racial injustice. But even after he left Denton to study and work at Columbia University, he came back home at a young age to Denton to work and invest his life in hope, to build bridges and to be a part of building a future that reflected the divine hope for us all. He served for 40 years as the principal of the black high school in town, served the community and worked for good, all the while having an eye for the future, having the hope to make on earth as it is in fullness. His whole adult lifetime he gave in service, mentoring countless young people right here, making their education second to none, giving them a chance to flourish in themselves. In love, he did justice. And for a community that could have torn apart in those years, he helped us hold together by living in a way, by lending himself and being interwoven and helping us stitch back some of the tears. But those bridges of reconnection weren't easy. Many were not finished in his lifetime, and many lay before us still. But still he built brick by brick with tenacious hope and a vision for what will be. And so recently I found a copy of the advice he would give to young people in his mentorship, a code of conduct, he called it. And it is truly one guide for how we might be bridge builders, brick by brick, step by step in our world. And so this is what Fred Moore taught. Exercise self-control. Control your tongues, your thoughts, your tempers, and your actions. Never ridicule or defile the character of another. Keep your self-respect and help others to keep theirs. Kindness. Be kind in thoughts and never despise anyone. Be kind in speech, never gossip or speak unkindly of others. Good health is important. Keep yourself clean in body and mind. Be self-reliant, but listen to the advice of wiser and older people. Develop independence and wisdom. Act according to what seems right and fair. Never fear being laughed at for doing what is right. Be brave. Always play fair, never cheat. Always treat your opponents with courtesy. Be a person of hope and never give up. Never give up. Step by step, action by action, relationship by relationship, brick by brick, we walk in faith and hope and love. Though not every bridge reached its destination in Fred Moore's lifetime, you can trace a direct line from the justice work of Fred Moore to the fact that Denton, this city, where the fabric had been torn into by segregation, was the first large Texas city to choose to integrate its high school because it was right and just, and because bridges had been built in the infinite hope and in the vision of what will be. The two schools that integrated here in the city were Denton High and Fred Moore High School, where he served as principal for 40 years. That is what happens when we build in hope, in the character of what will be, even amidst what is. When we build with a vision for what will be, it's amazing how often it becomes what is, on earth as it is in heaven. And so may we be people of that vision, of that future, who build bridges together in the infinite hope of the God of love, in this vision of what can be, must be, and will be always. Amen.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, but knowing the for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands, great
morning, church family. My name is Crystal, and I'd like to share some ways to connect this week at the church. This Saturday is Halloween, and we cannot wait for our Share the Harvest drive-thru event. Come and see cool costumes, register for some great door prizes, bring canned goods to donate to our neighbors, and receive a bag with, of course, candy. This will be a safe and fun way to enjoy Halloween while never leaving your car. If you'd like to help or learn more, visit fumcdenton.com/events. Next Sunday, November 1st, we're offering a communion service in the sanctuary at 9 a.m. with individual pre-filled communion cups for safety. Please register online at fumcdenton.com/events, and we look forward to worshiping with you. Also, if you haven't yet filled out an estimative giving card for 2021, please visit fumcdenton.com/goodness to learn more about how you can support the church next year. Our gifts to God each week are an act of worship, and our offerings change lives and transform our community. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Crystal and friends. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being people who truly are bridge builders, who walk with courage, walk with love, who keep walking with tenacious hope and a vision for what will be. May God continue to do bridge building, reweaving, shalom growing work through you all. Thank you. We do this together. A great way to live into that togetherness is through open groups. Throughout the week, there's opportunities to connect with others in groups and growth opportunities. You can find them at opendtx.com/groups. A few to highlight this week. On Sundays at 9:45, a group called Open Thought meets on Zoom to study the Gospel of Matthew through the lens of being radical disciples of Jesus' way of love. And on this Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, we have our next Pub Theology with Laura and Jenny. Come join for the theology, for the conversation, the community, for the virtual pub. It is always an awesome time. And on Tuesday at 7 p.m. is a group called More Open, hosted by Lisa Benton Nielsen, where you can meet others and talk a little more and a little more deeply about the theme from Open this week and how you experience it in your own life. It's literally more open, and it is more awesome. Just go to opendtx.com/groups to learn more about these and all of our opportunities. We want to continue to thank you for the ways that you're supporting this community with deep love and care and generosity. Each week, you can go to opendtx.com/give to support this community that is a beacon of good for so many. Thank you. Finally, let us know you're here at opendtx.com/sign-in. It helps whenever you watch to get a good picture of this community and to stay connected. And so thank you so much for signing in and doing that. And so now, friends, as you go into the world, into your neighborhoods, or just into another room of your house, seeking to build bridges and bring love, take these words of hope and benediction with you as you go until we meet again. Friends, may we follow after the way of love and life, that we as beloved children may live lives that bear witness to the reconciling, peacemaking, shalom-seeking, all-transforming love of God, empowered by God in the strength of community, with the power of hope. May we keep going, keep choosing to walk in the way of love for our neighbor and for ourselves. Beloved community, go forth this week, empowered by love and fully loved. Go in grace, go in peace, and go in the love of God always. Amen.